You have the House Ways and Means boss, Kevin Brady, talking to me about the tax cut thing he wants to see pushed through and fast. Signs that the wealthy may not be getting a tax cut. He reacted to that.
We're determined to deliver the lowest rates on local businesses in modern history.
If the rates ultimately that come out of the White House, Chairman, are not across the board, in other words, everyone gets their taxes cut, would you be disappointed?
I would. So here's why. It's incredibly important, I think, that we close loopholes, eliminate special provisions, and lower tax rates on every American.
All right. That's a significant departure from the White House here. You have the House Ways and Means chief. The first guy was putting this together, saying that if the White House follows through with a plan to leave the rich out of it, he'd be disappointed. He wants an across-the-board cut for everyone, that are most consequential cuts in American history, whether you go all the way back to JFK, to Ronald Reagan, then to George W. Bush's tax cuts in the early 2000s, and you don't follow through on that, then you'll get limited impact from that. Is that the case? Let's ask North Dakota Republican Senator John Hoeven. Senator, very good to have you. I know you have a crazy schedule today. What do you make of that? Could you support a tax measure that wouldn't include the wealthy? In other words, wouldn't be across the board?
Neil, I think it'll be focused on middle class and wage earners, but the reality is I think it will be across the board, because the idea is we want to make it pro-growth. We want the economy to grow, create more jobs. And so when you look at sub-S corps and the small business across this country, we're talking about lowering those rates so they create more jobs, more opportunity. That drives wages up. That helps wage earners, along with the tax cut that we're trying to do. So I think you're going to see that it will be across the board.
And I think you cited them because they pay at whatever the prevailing rates are, not the corporate rates, but they pay a lot of the small businesses, S corps and all, at whatever those marginal rates.
Right, and you remember that's why you've got your C corps, your S corps. You bring those business rates down. If you have a big disparity between that and your top rate, then that creates a problem as far as the difference between big business, which are typically C corps, and pass-throughs, or S corps, which is the case for most small businesses.
All right. So would you support a measure if it comes out of the White House, I guess next Wednesday, Senator, when they'll provide the rate details, that didn't include that?
You know, I'd have to look at it, Neil.
Yeah.
I think the reality is you're going to see the kind of reductions I described. I think that's what we're going to see.
All right.
But I will look at anything the White House brings forward, because we need to do tax relief and tax reform. We need to get it done, and I'm committed to doing it.
They're going to go back to the health care repeal again, as you know, Senator, and I'm just wondering, where are you on this Cassidy Graham measure? Would you be for it from what you have learned of it thus far?
Yes, I support it. It's about getting the resources out to the states and then letting them design programs, working with their health care companies and their health care providers that work. And it just comes down to your philosophy. I trust the governor and the legislature of our state and the other states to do a better job than the federal government.
You know, a lot of your colleagues, well, not a lot, I should stress here. Rand Paul is the only one who's out there on the record saying that he would oppose this. But their big concern is that this isn't much better than what's out there right now. And there are 5 other Republicans who are leaning, potentially against it. So let's say this goes down to defeat. Then what? Is it over? Does it poison the well for tax reform, tax cuts, whatever you want to call it?
No, we're committed to continuing to work on it. So obviously we'll try to get this done, but we certainly wouldn't give up, until we get. I mean, we want to repeal and replace Obamacare. We want health care reform. Remember, look what's happening with Obamacare. I mean, you have premiums exploding. You have places where, we may not be able to get coverage by insurance companies. So you got to look at the problems we're having under the current system, and we've got to get something done.
Do you think that those with a pre-existing condition, I think what's left out in this argument here is the pre-existing condition patients, they're going to get health care. The question is, will they have to pay significantly more for it? The fear that's been expressed with this plan, as you know, Senator, is they will, at least more than they do now. Do you share that? And is that a problem for you, or that's the way it goes?
The bill requires that pre-existing conditions are covered, and that it has to be on both an affordable and an available basis. And remember, the whole objective of the legislation is to promote choice and competition to try to bring health insurance rates down. And what you're seeing right now is those health insurance rates exploding. I mean, here in our state, we're looking at a 25% increase this year, and that's low compared to a lot of other states.
So part of the way to keep those costs down is not to spread the costs of coverage for those with pre-existing conditions. So they pay a little bit more. You hope, I guess, by this is my sense of what you're saying here. Hopefully not a lot more, but the goal here is to get the overall cost down.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you've got to have provision. The law requires provision that those rates are affordable, and with competition, hopefully they'll be more affordable, not less.
Well, would they be more affordable for those with a pre-existing condition than they are now?
I think with the innovation that states will be allowed to do, that there's opportunity to bring rates down. That's the whole idea. We're seeing all rates explode right now. That includes rates for pre-existing conditions.
But the reason why I badger on this point, Senator, to be clear, is I think what's been lost in this is the realization that rates are going up for everybody. And part of the plan's thinking, it seems to me, is that you have to separate or have separate pools for those with pre-existing conditions or higher risk diseases and the like. Because if everyone were to bear those costs, it would be higher premiums for everyone, right?
But the law requires, if you take a look at it, that pre-existing conditions be covered and be done so on an affordable basis. And with the kind of innovation, choice, and competition that we're trying to bring, I think you're going to see.
But there's no guarantee that states would be able to do that, right?
That's the objective.
But there's no guarantee that states would be able to do that, right?
Well, I don't know that people can provide guarantees whatever scenario you have, but I think we have a better chance to do more to bring rates down with the reforms that we're trying to undertake.
Understood. Senator, thank you very, very much.
You bet, Neil.